Hello, hello, book friends. It's Caitlin and Tishka here. This is the first video I've done in like over a week because I was really sick and had a fever like all day, all night last week. And finally, I have mostly recovered, just have a little bit of like leftover phlegm, TMI. But I didn't really get to read a whole lot last week. And what I did read, let's just say I'm not like screaming about it off of the rooftops about how great these books were. So, this is a good time to do a book tag video. And my book bestie, Book Reviews with Becky, just made an original book tag called Book Confessions, and the questions are really fun. So, I'm going to do this tag today. And before we get to that, I just have to say, I've been seeing some people, some other booktubers refer to their pets as like their co-host, and I just think that is really cute. I've never called Tishka my co-host. So, I want to do a little knighting ceremony to knight Tishka, my official co-host of my channel, Spill the Reads. So, here we go. Tishka, with the power invested in me, I now knight you with your dental treat. Co-host of Spill the Reads. Here we go. Boop, boop. Okay, here we go. He loves these little dental treats. So the first question is, what is an unpopular book opinion or preference you have? Okay, I have the perfect answer to this because I feel like very different compared to other people on YouTube because I never have any physical books to show. Oh, Tishka is out. The co-host is out, everyone. Tishka, you want your treat? Come here. Okay, we'll see if Tishka comes back. Anyway, I read everything on my little Kobo here. And yeah, I don't mind like reading everything on an e-reader. I think of it as kind of like a treat if I get to read like a physical book. But when you live outside of the US, we live in France. It's a lot harder to find like books in English, especially new books, and the prices are often a lot higher. And I don't always reread books, so that's why I mostly read everything on here. Also, because I like being able to like click on words when I don't know them and just get an automatic definition. So yeah, but I do notice like the vast majority of people on booktube always have like a physical book to show people. Question number 2, has your reading taste changed over the years and how? Oh yeah, I feel like my reading taste kind of just like evolves constantly depending on my age, my mood. It's just like always changing, especially now that I am like in my early 30s. I just feel like my tastes have completely changed. Like I really like reading like dark and scary books, and I've also found myself like gravitating towards like spicier reads, even reading some like smut when I never used to read that before. So yeah, I feel like things are always changing, always getting interested in like different stuff. And that's something that I like to just allow myself to do freely. I grew up in a very conservative home, and I wasn't allowed to read or watch like certain things on TV, and so now like I find it freeing to just let my like book freak flag fly and just read whatever the heck I want because it brings me joy. Question number 3, what genre do you read to get out of a reading slump? Um, if I'm in a reading slump, I usually just stop reading and like try another activity, kind of like rest my eyes, or I try to maybe listen to like an audiobook instead of having a physical book, maybe watch TV, do some other kind of craft. But sometimes I can also just like go back to the basics of the kind of books that I really, really like. So maybe like pick up some kind of like atmospheric mystery book with like really, really, really good characters that I know that I will just be really happy to like read through. So yeah, I guess that's my answer to that question. And let's see, question number 4. What are some of your automatic buy authors? I feel like I have, depends on the genre. For thrillers, I really like kind of like travel thriller style of books. So Lucy Clark, Lucy Foley, Rachel Hawkins, Sally Hepworth. On the scarier side, Jennifer Hillier. She's someone that I've started reading recently who is just so dark and has really scary books. Let's see. And in general, Leanne Moriarty, and for horror, probably Rachel Harrison. I really like her girly horror books. Let's see. How many chances do you give an author before you won't try them again? Probably two, in case the first one was kind of a fluke. Number six, do you have anything you like to do or listen to while you read? Yeah, for sure. If I'm listening to an audiobook, that means I'm probably out walking Tishka or like cleaning. But if I'm just like doing regular reading, I like to just be completely like silent in bed, no music, no sound at all, just being comfy with this little one using me as furniture. Question number seven. How far do you read before do not finishing? That's such a good question, and it really depends. Generally, I'll try to like read until page 50 and then check in with myself like, do I want to keep reading this or not? But sometimes I give up even sooner than that. And you know what? I never feel bad about it because I read everything on Libby. So I know that other people are waiting in line desperately to get their eyes on the book. So I'm like happy to give a book back if I don't like it. But what I find really hard is when you like the book kind of peters out for you. You're into it at the beginning. And so you've read like maybe a few hundred pages and you're like, oh my gosh, should I finish it? Or do I give up now after I've already spent like countless hours on a book? So that is something that I have a really hard time with, but I want to try to give up more on when I'm in this mood because like I hate feeling like what I'm reading is like torturous and I'm going to start just like looking up endings online if I'm in that situation because it's not really fun and I feel like it's happening more and more to me. Okay, I absolutely love this question that Becky came up with. Do you ever find yourself making the same faces as characters in the books? Absolutely, 100%. This is something that I do all the time. And not just the faces, I feel like I'm always doing the gestures. And it makes me think of this really funny girl on Bookstagram. Like her whole shtick is that she like mimes funny things like happening in books because she does the exact same thing. Her name is Diana the Book Nerd. Hey, number nine, rereading? Yes, no, depends. Um, it's a good question. If I'm getting the books off of Libby, that means I don't have them like at my disposal around the house. So I don't really reread books that often unless maybe I've read them and I don't remember them at all. That happens with Sally Rooney for me. Like I know I've read maybe like three of her books, but I don't remember how I felt about them at all. So that's someone who I've been like, oh, I should reread those books. But yeah, I don't really have super strong opinions on rereading. And number 10, tag some other booktubers. Okay, you guys, this is such a confession. I feel really bad saying it, but I'll explain why. I feel like I spend more time on Bookstagram than Booktube, and I feel really bad about it, but I think it's just because like I'm I do more like mindless scrolling on Instagram like during the day, and when I go on YouTube, it's like intentional. I sit down and I'm like on my laptop, and so when I watch people there, like it's really like an intentional use of my time rather than just like mindless scrolling at like pretty book covers and stuff like that. Um, but I do want to name my all time favorite person to get book reviews from. Her name is Casey. Her bookstagram is called Lady in the Book, and she just has like the most wonderful, like under the radar, like unhinged female litfic recommendations and horror. And for thrillers, well, obviously we have my book bestie, Book Reviews with Becky, who, if you're not book friends with her, she's like the best book friend anyone could have, just so supportive and like full of positivity. She also reads a lot of mystery thrillers like me. So we're always chatting in the comments of each other's videos. Other people I like to get thriller and mystery recommendations from are Sydney Books and Francesca's Books. They're both on Bookstagram and Booktube. And some other spooky booktubers I like, Crits Reads. She does a lot of horror and I like her videos a lot. And then Becky just introduced me to Rye Reads, and I'm happy to have found his page because I like how he does all these videos that he's like read all of like an author's works and then he like ranks them, and I find that like such a good time saver. And yeah, that is all of the questions. I had so much fun making this book confessions video today, and Tishka, the co-host, is absolutely exhausted by becoming knighted my little co-host. So thanks for watching today. Oh, and I would love to hear your guys' answers to these questions. So let me know down in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time.